namaskar, and welcome to this Sattology show. On every Sunday, we have this live show. You can ask any questions here. And thank you all for loving our videos and our content. And we try to be as factual as possible, trying to bring all the references. Some people they think that many. It's I hear from many people, many people, that questions are asked that where do you get these references? How do you get these references? Two things are very important. One is your faith, Shraddha in Guru, and the second is Harinam. Very important. Even if you do not read anything, cannot read anything, but if you have Shraddha in your Guru and Harinam, then you can achieve anything. And you can see vision also. You see, we learn our Shastra through the medium of our Guru, and that's where we get our references from. Programs like these, like especially mine and many other programs like this are on the show on the YouTube. We pride ourselves in trying to bring referenceable material, which is mentioned in already there, and we do our research and then try to find how accurate that is. That is called philosophical research. Now, today's show is going to shock you. So please share it widely to your friends and other people on all the channels. You can share it so that people can join. Normally we see people loving political videos or what's happening now, but over the long run period, what happens, what is more important is how you actually build for your future, not just this future in this life or also in the next life. We believe in karma. We know that the life goes from one body, and based on our karma we get our next body. Mentioned in many shastra, especially Bhagavad Gita is mentioned. Patanjali also mentions it, and you can check out my books on Sattology. Search Sattology on Amazon, you'll see all my books. Also on Kapot in India, and also Prabhat Prakashan. Also, you'll see my books in India. In the US, you can check out on Barnes and Noble stores. So today's topic of Udaygiri and Adityagiri, extremely important, because this is coming from multiple references, not just one, multiple references. Whether it's a Valmiki Ramayana or it is Mahabharata, those are itihas. Those were written down. Itihas are written down. And some people they say Puranas are not authentic information. That is also wrong conclusion, because people like Shukadev Goswami studied Upanishads in detail. Vyasdev himself, being the author of all the Vedas and all his principal disciples, Sumantu Paila, Jaimini, and Sumantu Paila, Jaimini, and the fourth one is Kaliyug memory. Paila is Rigved, Sumantu, Jaimini, and one is Vaishampayan. Sorry, Vaishampayan. These are the four principal disciples, and the fifth is his own son, Shukdev Goswami. Now, you will see that every single devata, and Hari also, Bhagwan Hari, including, they all collaborate. Even Mahadev collaborates. There is no one thing as is that because the ultimate goal is to get out of this cycle of karma bandhan, and that's the whole purpose of all the Vedic literatures. Now, the Abrahamic literatures are exactly reverse. They they are just busy in nivritti marg, which means that pravritti marg is progression, and nivritti is the actually they're busy in pravritti marg, not nivritti marg. Nivritti, and nivritti means cutting down. Yoga means nivritti marg, cutting down so that you can get free from raga and dvesh, attachment and aversion, and then that's how you get out of the cycle. So when you speak based on the referenceable material in Itihas, Puran, and Veda, and also the other Upanishad, the principal Upanishad is Gita Upanishad for us, because it is coming out from Bhagavan Krishna, but there are many other Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads. All of them are contained in Mahabharata, Bhagavad Puran. Bhagavad Puran is the last one which was written by Vyasdev himself under the instructions of Narad Muni. And therefore, you'll see maximum sadhus quoting Bhagavad, maximum. But there are other Purans also quoted in multiple ways. Shiv Puran is quoted, and other Purans are also quoted. There are 18 major Puran, 18 minor Puran. So this show, particularly on Sattology on Sunday, I bring some information which may help you to read these texts on your own. Obviously, you, like I said in the beginning, you need Shraddha and you need Guru Ashray. Otherwise, you can't understand these things. You will always make up confusion. You'll find politics in them also. So, so today's topic of Udaygiri and Adityagiri is going to shock you because it's going to bring you a perspective on the geography mentioned in Vedic scriptures. And it will also help you to understand your identity. Like it automatically debunks all the modern conspiracy theories like Aryan invasion theory. It debunks it completely. It debunks many other aspects of misinformation campaign against Hindus. In, like for example, the jati, a lot of controversy on jati, and a lot of controversy over other things. Even Ramcharitmanas, Tulsidas ji, he actually references all these material and presents it. So the purpose is, if we know the geography where we live and what has been done around us, we will naturally not fall to prey to misinformation campaigns against us. I see a lot of WhatsApp messages floating around and fighting that today this has happened and today this person is doing this. Important for us to Shastra and Shastra have to go together because we have to protect this culture in the world, which is the basis of all the native cultures of the world. The native cultures of the world, the best documentation is done in amongst the Vedic literature. So if native cultures of the world also takes take reference, especially in USA and Canada and South America and other parts of the world, there the Bhagavad Gita, one book, can actually bring them the light of what they have been doing so far. So for them also, Vedas will work in a very well way. So there are two societies now, practically. One is a Veda-based society, another is a non-Vedic society, pretty much, which is Abrahamic. And there are many other frameworks also, like for example, the Abrahamic is there. Then there are other communities, small communities, which are not connected to any one of them, neutral. Okay, so there are three major schools of thought, but the predominant mode of thought is Abrahamic. So on WhatsApp, I see a lot of messages getting worried about things. The two options we have: either we get worried, or we expand our own knowledge. And when we expand our own knowledge, then usually those worries don't matter, and insecurity goes away. And it also gives us strength to counter those arguments. So I'm going to present you some information today which will help you. And let me know your feedback because it's always important to hear from all of you and again build on it. So I'm working on my latest book now, which is coming out. Meanwhile, I'll share my screen and you can check out these books on Amazon, which is available. You can see the screen, and these books are available on Amazon and many other book platforms in USA. In India, it is on Kapot.in or Prabhat Prakashan. Either of them will carry my books. So gradually, all books are coming to India gradually. But meanwhile, you can always read from the you can read from Kindle. You can download Kindle. You can see Kindle prices. Kindle. Many people read my books through Kindle and other places. So let's begin today's show because some of you are waiting, and those of you who want to, you can meet me in San Diego, California, and the Lit Fest will be there on August 25. And I'm looking for a lot of authors, a lot of volunteers to work with us. And let me just share my screen, and I will take all the questions. You can ask questions from any part of the Shastra. I'll be very happy to take them today. Let me share my screen and let's begin. Also, you need to know that the sometimes the authentic people who are actually following, people say, where are the gurus and where are the paramparas? This question has been asked to me from last 25 years, 30 years. I've been actively involved in spreading this knowledge. And I always tell them, if you are sincere, you'll find it. You'll find it. And sometimes Paramatma will himself find those people for you. Because many places, I have got so many references, and believe me, I work on references because some people say, oh, you should know on your own. I said, no, I don't know on my own, because I don't have that yoga siddhis or something like that. I go by what is written. And another mythology being spread is, many people have this viewpoint, not just one or two or many people, is that, oh, the scriptures have been changed. And I have serious question on that. Okay, there will be around 10% will be change, but what about the other 90%? Can't you experiment on yourself? If you follow any part of yoga process, you will see immediate, you'll start seeing things as they are. And if your mind is trained to look at things which are changed, then you'll have a problem, because you will always get confused. uh, and most of the information in Vedas is still there, intact. 80 to 90% is accurate. And 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 people have done a good work. Like, for example, Gita Press has done a fabulous work. Gita Press, Mahabharata and Ramayana includes Mahabharata and Ramayana from other institutes in India, including particularly Pune, Bandarkar Institute. It includes that also. And they have done a very good job for last 99 years. And and but because people don't have time, and they don't have the patience to go through them, you know people like me, we come up with small small books, 300 pages, on particular aspect only, like Yudhishthir Maharaj. And in each of my books has is a homage to particular rishi. Like, one book of mine has Parashar, another has Vyasdev, and like different people, I keep researching on them. And many other rishis in between, like Sutiksha, Shadbringa, many other great people, personality. Nomash Rishi is there, all this. And then my latest one has exciting information about one of my favorites, and where he was born, how he was born, and what did he do. So, so keep your interest on, and you can ask me questions when you have. And people who are watching from India, like when I'm visiting from US to India, you can organize my programs in your colleges and your universities, or you can join the Sattology debunking mythology course, and I'll be happy to come to those places. Sorry. So let's begin. So if you look at this map, I'm going to search for Mithila. Believe me, Mithila is not changed. Mithila name is an old name, shows as Nepal nowadays, but it is not changed. And I'll begin here, because if you look at, again, I said, the prime meridian of the world is this. This is prime meridian is like this. It crosses this way and goes all the way. I'm going to a little bit more zoom out. It goes from here and crosses Ujjain and goes straight here, 0 0. Okay, this is the prime meridian. Unfortunately, the British changed it. And if you look at from the time calculation perspective, directional perspective, then this makes more sense than the GMT. Probably Indian government should ask to change it back, because if you have the prime meridian here, the time calculation becomes easy, and you have the majority of the population of the world living in this land. Like from east to here, this is the land where majority of the world population is living. This is the land where majority, like almost like 3 billion, or almost 4 billion people live here. This is the majority of the world. So we should not, the things have been changed. We all know that people have changed things, and especially colonial powers. But we should go back, because this is the best time calculation line. Greenwich Mean Time (GMT) is like, you have to keep changing the time. Like in the West world, India's time is constant because India's time is calculated here, Kolkata, which is not, which is little bit away. Like if you look at it, India's time should be calculated in Ujjain, somewhere here, and this is the time should be the standard time. Then all the things, sunrise, sunset, everything will start making sense. Uh, Now, coming back to today's presentation. Now, Mithila, very important for us. Now, we see the movement of great rishis, many great rishis, including Shukdev Goswami, including other Vyasdev, other people, is constantly happening from Meru Parvat down. You know, this is Meru Varsh, Hari Varsh, Hemavanta Varsh. You see my arrows. This is Meru Varsh, Meruvarsh, and we all know Meruvarsh, the significance, because when Arjun goes to the north and he crosses and he reaches here Sardyaj Nadi. I've shown in one of my earlier videos. You can go and check it out on Sattology channel. On playlist Sattology, you'll see many videos over there where I have discussed that in detail. And Almaty is right here, and this is called the Uttar Kuru. This is Uttar Kuru on above. This above this lake is all Uttar Kuru entire area, Uttar Kuru. And gradually we have many other areas like Siberia. It's a large area and it's very green. And if you look at the map, like if I'm turning, if I'm here, then it looks very small. But if you look at it, the distance wise, like if I calculate distance wise, let us do that. And we do it here, and it is around 3,500 kilometers, on the top, 3,500 kilometers. Now we go down from here, 3,700 kilometers. Practically the same. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I go on the east side, let us touch on 4,000, and this is 4,000. 4,300, and here it is 4,275. Pretty much accurate. Pretty accurate. Right in the middle. Approximately, you can say right in the middle. 100 kilometers difference, 100 kilometers on either side slightly, and which you can, if we can accumulate the other 100 kilometers, then it all becomes the same. Very accurate. So some people may say that how did Vedic scriptures were so accurate to call Jambudvip and Meru Parvat as the center? And believe me, this is the largest landmass, any landmass in the world, the largest landmass. And the land is very fertile land. All kinds of food grows here. So it's a very special place, very special. So you all know Mithila, we are starting Mithila because Mithila is important. And Mithila is, okay, just a minute. I need to stick to that. Okay, so here is Mithila, which is, I have to keep the directions very straight. Now, use, like I was saying, this is Meruvarsh, Harivarsh, Hemavanta. Hemavanta is this area, Hemavanta, or Kimpurush, the same word, same. This is the difference between Hemavanta and Himavan or Himalaya is different, two different words. Hemavanta or Kimpurusha is the same word, same. I mean, used interchangeably. Some sages call it Semavanta, some sages call it Kimpurush, but it's the same place. And if you go further south, and you can see the Hemavanta is filled with lakes. Chinese Communist Party may not like our show, but we are talking from Mahabharata. They should love it because they are also included in Mahabharata as a province of India, paying taxes to Hastinapur. And that's the time where Chinese were the most happy people. In fact, if you go to Chinese monasteries, I've traveled China a lot before, and I saw a deep love for the spiritual traditions of India by the small monasteries. But unfortunately, this is changed now. It's more politics, less facts. Our geopolitics has to be built on historical facts, not cannot be built on random ideas of supremacy. Because when you have an idea of supremacy, somebody else superior will emerge. It is not if, will emerge, because the times change, the people's capabilities change, and the culture remains the constant. Like the underlying dharma cannot change. Like I was seeing some reports. Now, our Shastra mentions 400,000 species of Manushya, human. But nowadays they are saying we have found only 21. You know? But a slight change in the anthropological structure of the body is considered a new species. And people say that species are outside this planet. No, they are not humans. They are not considered humans according to Vedic Shastra. All 400,000 have to exist on Prithvi because that is Mrithyloka. This is, the species mentioned Manushya means Manu comes on this Prithvi. Manu doesn't go to other planetary system. I have not seen any reference. If anybody can bring me the reference, I'll be happily try to read it. Okay, but I have not seen it. I've extensively read Mahabharata, Ramayana, and Bhagavad Puran, and other Purans also I've read now to make cross references. I have all the Puran in my house, but I have not, except Bhavishya Puran. I don't have Bhavishya Puran. I need to get that. So, but I did not see any reference anywhere because other planetary systems cannot have Manusha. Manusha means Manu, and Manu is Earth. It refers to Manusha. So this is the only place where in Kali Yuga, Devatas, Danav, and species who are not from this earthly realm, they take birth to quickly go back. Kaler doshe nije rajanasti ko mahan guna. This is Shukdev Goswami telling Parikshit. Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Prajet. He says Hari Kirtan, Krishna. He specifically mentions Krishna. Mukta Sangam Param Prajet. And Shukdev Goswami is a great personality. He's already realized. He's the one who is a who was whose Upanayan was done by Mahadev, whose birth was caused because of Mahadev. Mahadev, Vyasdev prayed to Mahadev, and that's how he got it. And that person is saying Krishna Kirtan. So Mahadev's full blessings are on him. Okay. So it's a very interesting. Some people. So the this Shukdev Goswami is mentioning the information of Bhagavad Puran. And he also was the fifth student. So four students were, I already mentioned, which is Paila, Sumantu, Jaimini, Vaishampayan. And the fifth was Shukdev Goswami. And they all took a boon from Vyasdev that these five should be, there should be no sixth one. That's what they said. Vyasdev answer was very instructive. Vyasdev said, you spread this knowledge freely to the entire humanity. Now, this is Europeans won't like it. Europeans will say, oh, we have no connection with Vyasdev, some imaginary character. This is what Europeans say. Europeans also said the same thing, that all the scriptures have been changed. The word mythology was invented by them because they are insecure. Because when you are greedy, you're insecure. You want to acquire somebody else's land. They think because they think they're going to live forever. Me, my children, my family, more important than the rest of the world. That is a very wrong concept of human life. We have to create a situation where everybody's children are taken care. We have to think about the whole humanity, not just my family, my extended family, my blood, That's not the way it works. So this Vedic knowledge was given to the entire humanity freely by the orders of Vyasadeva. And when something is given free to you and with a lot of responsibility, it's your duty to preserve it, and it is your duty to spread it without changing the purport. Like, for example, if you receive a grandfather's property, ideally a good grandchild will expand on that property for the greater good of the community because he did not earn it, he received it. So it's like a kripa. So that's what Vyasadeva did. And all this information we are discussing coming from his writings or his disciples' writings. And he taught them. That's why I marked it on Mithila, because from Mithila to go to there, those parts of Himalayas is very easy. Okay, that's why I did it. Now, coming to Udaygiri, before we get into that, now I'm going to. So Udaygiri is mentioned. Now, understand this: the representation of global, this Google Earth, is based on Galilean model, where Earth is rotating around the sun, and Mahabharata Ramayana has different information. I that is outside the scope of this. I'm not going to go there right now because people have a lot of controversies there, especially the Western population. But most of the Vedic population they know very well. I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to touch it when I'm ready with all the references. Then you know me because I do not. I am a bookish guy, and I take pride in that. This is Udaygiri. Now, if I look from the other side of it, like from the other side, then if I start going north, east here, and scientists will tell you that just 15,000 or 20,000 years back, this area was one piece of land, Bering Strait. So we all know the story, and Asia is very big. People crossed over land, and we all know even the Chinese balloon followed the same path, came to the east, and went down, and this is Udaygiri. So there is a land path to South America also. And unfortunately, due to political divide, we don't have access to it nowadays because you cannot cross this boundary. This part is USA and this part is Russia. Okay, but like for practical reasons, 15,000 years back, this was 1,000. I'll just zoom in, and there are many other maps, but it is easy for us to refer to this Google Earth. There are many other maps also, and it was 1,000 kilometers wide area, connected path. And we all know Russian and American treaty where Alaska was handed over to USA, and which Russia has also questioned it in recent times. But anyway, we are not into politics, so we won't discuss anything like that. But now, if you see this connection now, this map reference is all connected. So when Krishna informs Yudhishthir that the Nimna Koti Kshatriya went to the east, Ucha Koti Kshatriya went to the west, who ran away from Parshuram. Now, Parshuram's story is in the beginning of Treta Yuga. Okay, Treta Yuga story, beginning story is it. Throughout Treta Yuga end story is Bhagwan Ram taking away the powers of Parshuram. Both are Vishnu avatar, by the way. Jamdagni's son is also uh, Vishnu avatar, which is called Shaktavesh sometimes. Some words are used, Shaktavesh. And Bhagwan Ram is also. All the four brothers are Vishnu. So now, this is the. Okay, we go back. Okay, we come back. Hold on. Okay, here. So so Udaygiri is practically accessible, but Udaygiri is mentioned everywhere. And if you go to India again, back to Mithila, so that is Udaygiri out there, and somewhere here in Uttarakhand today, there is a Skanda place, Skanda Temple, very beautiful Skanda Temple, and which is also like, so if you go Mithila, so most of the sages, and I won't take very specific names, the reason is I'm bringing it out in one of my future books, and there I'll bring it out because there's no point in discussing right now. But many great sages, they move freely. Like Vyasdev is present here all the times doing tapasya. This place has been mentioned, and if you look at the local Mongolian uh, traditions, local Mongolian traditions will say that this mountain is the mountain of gods, and nobody disturbs over there. It's a very quiet place. It's a mountain of gods, and it's a very sacred place. There's a local Mongolian tradition. Local Mongolians will tell you that a lot of things they cannot explain what happens on these mountains. Amazing kinds of planes come over there. They travel. They different levels they come because there are seven types of layer of air, and those airs, you know, there is certain layer on which the Vimana travels, and the Viman travels in Pravaha, which is little bit higher. People may call it stratosphere today and other words in English you can say. But there is a seven types of layers, and the seventh layer is called the planes which fly over there. These are not seven types of reality. You know, some people they say seven types of reality. Well, reality is according to your mind. If you're in a Sataguna, you see in a different way. If you're in Rajaguna, you see in a different way. If you're in a Tamoguna, you see in a different way. But there are different types of layers of air in which the planes fly, and people will locally will mention you. And I also did many shows on UFOs, at least three shows we have done on UFOs, where me and different guests on our channel, they have done analysis on how the plane movements is very heavy, unidentified flying objects, and is very heavy, and those planes are very fast. Recently, let's yesterday there was a news where somebody in the Canadian airspace, some unidentified object was shot down. But anyway, these are very rare. I mean, you will never see these planes affecting a normal life in any parts of India or anywhere else. So this part is called Aryavrat. So Kim Purush Varsh, Hari Varsh, Miru Varsh, Aryavrat. And in between the dividing line is Himwan, large line. So it starts from here all the way there and ends here. That means if I make a box of this land, just make a box like following the trajectory of this Meru, this thing. So if I make a box and cut it out here, so most of the Somashram, this Somashram here. So this is a large area, you know, large area of land, and that is all called Aryavrat. This and everything is called Aryavrat because most of the gurus, because of Agastya Rishi, they all come from either here, which is Kapila Sagar, or they come from south of this area, south of this area. Um, Vindhyachal is right here, little bit here. Most of the gurus they come from here or here, most of them. And here, most of the avatar happen. There are many gurus here, but the traditions are all maintained because of many invasions. All those things are maintained in the south of India. So there is no difference between the between what is uh, so the if you look at from the Western point of view, all the information that we are discussing is totally irrelevant because they think that they have the right to define the narrative because it is they have the God given right to define the narrative, and they have also got an ego that they are the, like if you go to the Stanford science, and they like when I hear their videos and I'm just shocked. They don't know anything about the mind. They have converted the entire mind into some logical function of the brains or something in the brain, but they don't know anything about it. The information about the mind is the most revealed in the Vedic scriptures, and you can experiment it yourself. You don't have to depend on a scientist. You don't have to depend on mind scientists, the brain waves, and all those things. Brain is always dead. Any neurosurgeon will tell you. And so where is the power in the brain coming from? So that's why do you do Shishasan? To bring blood in the brain, to make it alive, to make it as some life going on, prana going on. And what do you do with the pranayam? Bring air to the brain to activate it. So everything like I see, and they're very popular. Our show, hardly 32 people are watching right now. And if you look at other shows, you have 2,000, 3,000 people watching because they don't want to, they just, people are not interested in such kind of content. But anyway, we'll just do a seva. We're doing a seva. So, lot of information, but the information about the brain is best in the Vedic literature. Now, coming back to the point today. So, Udaygiri, I showed you, is far away. There is Udaygiri place in Odisha also. Odisha also Udaygiri, and which is very near. So people are Udaygiri, according to Vedas, is a far place, far away place. You can go by oceans or you can go by land also. Both ways you can go. Now, if I look at the Adityagiri, Adityagiri is a name of a mountain, which is in the from Mithila. It is in the northwest direction. Comes here, which is Kailash. This is where Shiva, Mahadev, did tapasya for many years on earth. It is also considered to be his home. Here, also Bhagavan Krishna visited here to do his tapasya for 12 years to get his son Pradyumna from Mahadev. But, and there is a very interesting conversation where Krishna glorifies Mahadev, and then Mahadev then says, why you need to glorify me? I'm always remembering you. I'm always doing your meditation. And so it's a mutual relationship of love. You should not say one is higher, one is lower. That is a argument of very foolish people. This is a relationship of love. Like you, there is one person which stays constant with you in your heart throughout your life, and that is Paramatma. Paramatma is an expansion of Vishnu, and he stays in your heart, very close to you. So, and it is informed by Krishna to Uddhav also. Vadanti tattvam tattvam vijnanavade brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdati. So he says that I am the same Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Brahma. So this is the same place. And the third reference is the Skanda. So Skanda, there is a very beautiful story of Skanda, where he puts a shaft in the ground, and it is in Uttarakhand, very close to this place. In fact, it's almost like very close. Cross the Himalayas, you reach here. This is the place, Adityagiri, and it appears golden. You all know a lot of golden pictures of Kailash are you have seen. Appears golden. This is the one. Okay, it's called Kangrin Boge Peak according to Chinese, and which is actually belonging to, and the striking marks are the two large lakes, Mansarovar, and which were part of India, but now India doesn't control it. In fact, India almost controlled in 2020 when they moved to Kailash ranges, but then they went back. So we have to retain these areas. If I was a politician, I would never let it go. But anyway, we are not in power, so we are just theorists, you can say. We are not even part of the academic scholarly consensus gang also. So this was the show today, Adityagiri and Udaygiri, and you can get my books and you can study in detail because many of these references I have given there. And what it does is why I do all these kind of things, because this one line of Vyasdev stuck to my brains, is that without connection with the land, it is impossible to bring dharma for many people, majority of people. Therefore, Mahabharata Ramayana gives references of every type of land available on earth. So with that, I'll stop here and I'll take questions. I'll stop my screen. So if you have any uh, questions, you can ask me. If you could become the member of our YouTube channel, that will be really helpful to all of us because we use this information. Your your donations to help us. It's a non-profit, so you get tax certificates. You don't need for small this thing. So if you have any questions, you can ask me, and I can see a lot of feedback here. Soumya Pradhan, and then Dushyant Jain, and I see. Okay, I get your point. When I'm in India, you can meet me. You can organize the shows. I'll definitely come. Siddharth, you introduced faith. Now it is love to read Mahabharata and Ramayana. Thank you so much. That means I'm successful, Siddharth. And thank you. Uh, where was Samudra Manthan done? So this is a story which is beyond this planet Earth, because Earth itself was part of the Samudra Manthan. Beyond the story, Earth, planet Earth. Earth pe nahi hua, because the if you look at the Earth, the center point of Earth, according to Vedas, is Meru Parvat. So, so how the maps show nowadays is completely different. But the center point of Earth, according to Vedas, is Meru Parvat, and the Samudra Manthan happened on the back of a big tortoise, not on this Earth. Uh, there's another question. Komala, donation Paytm of a shopkeeper. I don't use PayPal, Paytm. Uh, you can do through Patreon, patreon.com. You can see Patreon. You can do that. Paytm doesn't work in the US, and we are not in India. The Jigish Mehta says, thank you, Jigish Mehta ji, for doing that. Adolfo Rosado says, China out of Tibet, perfectly fine. I totally agree with you, but I'm not. It's not a political show. I won't say anything. I agree with you. And Srinivas Rao, very informative, amazing. Hare Krishna, you are able to show Itihas relevant to skeptical mind. Absolutely, absolutely. And then I can see many of them. Pranam, Rohit Sharma, about Kushdweep and Kranjadweep, Shakdweep also. I will cover that in a context. So if you look at my videos on Arjun's travels, and you can see the Shakdweep is covered there. In a context, I covered that. So if you see those videos, you'll do that. You'll see that. Jigish Mehta, no, they are the same people. Mahadev, Shankar, Mahadev, Rudra, 12, 11 other names of Rudra. They're all same. And what you meant by that? Pacifist says, actually, there are, according to Vedas, there are 400,000 species of humans. 400,000. Okay. So they are maintained. People think that they are running the world. Actually, what has happened is most of the Europeans have only created small nation states so that they can control them. And within Europe also there is no unity. And USA also is the largest landmass occupied by the Europeans is USA, Canada, and through their religious influence, South America also gradually is going to break over because it's impractical. Humanity is one. The borders created are almost artificial, like the Bharatvarsh was divided whimsically, and you can see that all the parts which are cut off from Bharat are poor because they cannot sustain themselves. They can't manage themselves. They can be full of hatred for the culture which they were forced to leave. That's a bitterness in most of the Pakistanis and Bangladeshis and others, because they are cut off from the main source of culture. So that's why they are so much hateful. Uh, Breaking down who used to rule China after Mahabharata. Most of the dynasties of China were following a Hindu culture or Buddhist culture. Buddhist, see, you understand one thing. Buddhism, there are many bodhisattvas. It was started by Buddha. There's one Buddha mentioned in Bhagavad Puran, and Anjani, it is Anjani. It's in Kikatadesh, Kikateshu Desh, which is Gaya, which is Bihar, and that is the most authentic version. And many other Buddhas were there. In fact, if you look at the Buddhist literature, the Vetokaleshwar is like Krishna from Vrindavan, so they also called him Buddha. So it's a mix of Hindu and plus Buddhist ideology. They try too hard to break it away. But Dalai Lama said it very accurately. Dalai Lama said, "You Hindus are my parents." He said in front of me in San Diego. So I know. I asked him that question, "What do you think about Hindus?" He said, "You Hindus are my parents. We are following you. We are your culture." That's what Dalai Lama said. So, Junna, fifth canto description solar system. Yes, that's a good point, but people will not understand. Many people nowadays hate Bhagavad Puran, except sadhus. Sadhus always comment on it. Dharma will win. It already has a deep impact in all America. I'm a witness and proof. Yes, Dharma is logical. It's going to win in any way. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra book in India. It's go to Sattology, search Sattology on Amazon. You'll see on Kindle my book Transcending the Mind. That's Patanjali Yoga Sutra. I call it Yoga Sutra as it is. Uh, Hard copy won't be available in India. Some people you are asking, hard copy is not available in India because Amazon USA doesn't sell their books in India. That's a problem. So thank you all very much for all your questions and comments, and do give me suggestions on topics. So when the topics are announced, you can join our Telegram channel, Facebook or Twitter, and give us the topics so that I can whatever you think. And there's some topics I cannot cover, so you can ask them in the questions. Meanwhile, do Harinam and be happy, and also read books, because when you read books, then you actually start making differences instead of searching on Google and other places. My books will have a lot of references. You can read them, but I have not written the whole Ramayana and Mahabharata. So you have to take cues from my book and then research on your own in Ramayana and Mahabharata. And you don't have to learn any books. Quickly, some questions are coming. Jigish Mehta, Kalyug ending in a few decades? No, 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 not ending, not ending. Good book to learn Sanskrit. Keep reading Ramayana and Mahabharata. And then it is creation of Bhugol early. Yes, I'll do that. But that, yes, I'll do that. Okay, thank you. All right. So we will end the show here. Thank you all for joining Sattology, and thank you all for being part and becoming a member, becoming a patron, and adding Sattology. And do help us in organizing the August event. You can volunteer, you can fund it, you can sponsor it, and you can let me know if you how you want to come to contribute and come to the team on there. The first thing I say, do the debugging mythology course, and for the yogis, do the Yoga Sutra course. Thank you, Namaskar, and Jai Jagannath. Yes, give me a second. I have a difficult time working on this.